Hello everyone once again, this is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and another album review of a remastered Flower Kings album. Before I go any further, I'd like to remind you all to consider liking, sharing, and commenting on this video. If you're not comfortable commenting, please explore the links below for other options to contact me. Also, if you'd be so kind as to consider subscribing to my channel and becoming part of my YouTube family, I'd love to have you. In addition to that, please check out my Patreon page and consider supporting this channel. The support would be greatly appreciated. So, I'm continuing with the Flower Kings remasters, and this was released around the same time as the first remastered album I featured last week, which was Back in the World of Adventures, which was the Flower Kings' first album, released in 1995, and the album featured René Stahl on guitar and lead vocals, along with the majority of lyrical composition. Thomas Bodine on keyboards, backing vocals, and lyrics as well as music composition. Hasse Fromberg on vocals and guitar, and Michael Stalt on bass guitar, and Jaime Salazar on drums. And the second album, Retropolis, features the same lineup as the first. And this album, Retropolis, this is the remaster, obviously, and I'll show you the whole packaging in a minute. But this album, for me, I've always struggled with this album. And when I purchased it in its original form, in the non-remastered edition, I tried my best to really love the album, as I knew a lot of people that really appreciated this album. And I could see why, but for me, it just doesn't hit the mark. The one song that I love on Retropolis is There Is More to This World. There's a beautiful section in the song sung by Hasse Fromberg. And it is just this emotional outpouring of amazingly powerful lyrics, and his voice, just in contrast to Royna's, really hits the mark for me. But aside from that, Retropolis itself, for me at least, is a bit too experimental. Back in the World of Adventures was an album that I think anyone could really listen to, even a non-progressive rock fan, and they could appreciate it. Whereas Retropolis goes into the really super King Crimson experimental mode with a lot of these songs. And I love King Crimson, and I do like this album more than I used to, but it's still not high on my Flower Kings ranking of albums. Is it a bad album? By no means, no. It is a good album, but it's not in my top Flower Kings albums. So I want to show you guys this new remastered packaging. As you can see, the cover is a slightly enhanced album art from the original. I'll show pictures here to comparison. And we're going to open this up, and I'll show you the interior sleeve of what you will see. with the picture of the band on the one side, and on the other side, just some informational notes about the album, credits and such, track listing, and then we open up the other side, and we have the actual CD itself in the center. There's what you get on the inside. You have the CD in the center, and you have the credits and track listing, and of course the booklet. And this album, like I said, it is a good album. I would not necessarily encourage someone who hasn't heard the Flower Kings to explore this album right after, getting into them. I would recommend some of the later albums. And if you'd like to know what to check out, just leave it in the comments or message me on Facebook. You'll find the link in the description. Here is the back of the CD case on this particular issue, which is the new 2022 remastering edition. The back cover is very minimalistic. It's a continuation of the artwork from the front with the credits, track listing, production information, engineering. But Retropolis, like I said, for me it was one of those albums that really always I struggled with it, and the one song I always went back to and still go back to is "There's More to This World." The rest of the album is it's very it's very experimental, but it's also it shows what the band is capable of from a musical standpoint. And I really firmly believe that the follow-up to this album is where that experimentation landed at its zenith as far as the actual success of this project of Retropolis. Because this was sort of the experimental balance or counterbalance to Back in the World of Adventures. And the next album I'll be featuring from the Flower Kings is their third studio album, Stardust We Are, which is really highly regarded as one of the band's best albums. I'll address how I feel about the album next week when I do that review. But I wanted to sort of give Retropolis a few more listens before I did this analysis and review. Now, as far as the remastering on this new 2022 remastered edition, the remastering on this is superb. Everything in this particular album pops a lot more. The sounds are more vibrant, and everything is a lot more crisp sounding, for me at least. And it was the same for Back in the World of Adventures. I think these earlier albums really benefited from the remixing, and remastering process. The artwork is similar to the previous artwork as you saw, but it's still close enough to bear resemblance to give you the full effect of the album art itself and possibly what to expect inside, because this is a really progressive album. And it's not a bad album. If you're really into highly advanced musicianship and progressive experimentation, I think you'll love this album. But as I stated, I would not recommend this as a go-to for a starter fan of Flower Kings. It's a great album. The remastering is fantastic. The new artwork and new design of the sleeve is really great. But other than that, and it's a song I mentioned that there's more to this world. This album really doesn't hit the mark for me personally on an album scale. The remastering is a 10 out of 10. It sounds perfect, and the playing, of course, is also a 10 out of 10. So I hope you enjoyed this overview of the Flower Kings' second album, Retropolis, copyright 1996. This is, of course, the 2022 remastered edition, available from Inside Out Music. And stay tuned for next week's review of Stardust We Are, the third studio album in the Flower Kings catalog. This is Rob with Media Awareness, and I would urge you all to please, once again, subscribe to my channel and become part of my YouTube family. Also consider liking, sharing, commenting, and checking out my Patreon page to support this channel. You'll also find the link in my description to the Amazon Media Awareness wish list, where you can pick and choose items for me to review, unbox, etc. And if you have any ideas for me to review, anything that you'd like me to cover, please leave that in the comments or in a private message, and I will address that. I will see you all soon. Have a great day. Bye.